Right now, Commerce City police say a stabbing they are investigating may have started as a case of road rage. This happened just before 10 last night on Oakland Drive near River Oaks Lane in Henderson. Police say one man went to the hospital, though we don't know how they're doing. The suspect left the scene and police are still looking for them. If you have any information, you are asked to call Commerce City Police. Today, a man accused in a murder on the streets of Fort Collins is set to face a judge. Dwayne Brown was killed last July at a gas station. The lifelong Broncos fan was from South Dakota but was visiting Colorado. Police arrested Simon Zare. They say that he was homeless and looking for aluminum cans in the trash when he started arguing with Dwayne. Then investigators say he stabbed Dwayne in the chest. Today, a judge is scheduled to officially charge Zare in the case. He's faced a judge before back in December. On that day, Dwayne's family came all the way from South Dakota to watch.
We want justice. We want to make sure that, he doesn't try and play the system or try and get away with anything. We want him to know that we're here and we're going to keep being here.
Terry told us she planned to drive back to Colorado every time Zare appears in court. His arraignment is set to start at 2 this afternoon in Larimer County.
New this morning, two parents have filed a lawsuit after their son was tased in the middle of I-25 and then hit and killed on the interstate. 9 News reporter Jeremy Hohola has a look at the case we're going to be covering today.
This is a wrongful death lawsuit that two parents have just filed. They're accusing a Larimer County Sheriff's deputy of excessive force. This happened on I-25 just northeast of Fort Collins last year. It started when a deputy stopped Brent Thompson on the interstate. Then as Thompson tried to run away, the deputy tased him. Thompson collapsed, and seconds later he was hit and killed by a car. The family is suing the deputy in state court. Thompson's mother says she can't understand why the deputy did this.
It just seems over the top for me. I don't understand it. I never will. That's why we're bringing the lawsuit. I'd like some justice for Brent, justice for my son. I want to be his voice.
The district attorney in Larimer County announced last year that the deputy will not face any charges. In the meantime, we are reaching out to the sheriff's office for comment. We'll have more coverage on this throughout the day on 9 News. In the newsroom, I'm Jeremy Hohola.
Right now, a live look at Denver, where migrants continue to arrive. The city says it counted 17 new arrivals on Monday. The number of people in the city shelters has also ticked up to 841. As of Monday, the city is also very close to the 42,000 mark in the total number of migrants it has helped. Meanwhile, Douglas and El Paso counties are teaming up to sue the state to allow their law enforcement to work with federal immigration agents. The lawsuit challenges state laws blocking local law enforcement from detaining somebody based solely on their immigration status or sharing their personal information with immigration. The Republican sheriffs in those counties say state restrictions on how they work with the feds on immigration are unconstitutional. Douglas County has been passing a string of immigration-related policies as Denver struggles with a migrant crisis. DougCo recently banned buses from dropping off migrants, though there is no evidence that has happened there.
In a little more than an hour, jury selection will pick back up in former President Trump's criminal trial. Now, lawyers have already dismissed a lot of potential picks. They had all told the court they could not be fair or impartial in the trial. Cameras aren't allowed in the courtroom. Pretty much all we're going to see are sketches like these. But outside, the former president didn't pass up the chance to speak about the case after court adjourned yesterday.
If you read all of the legal pundits, all of the legal scholars today, there's not one that I see that said this is a case that should be brought or tried. It's a scam. It's a political witch hunt.
The former president also said the judge would not let him go to his son's high school graduation or to Washington next week, where the Supreme Court is set to take up his immunity case. Because this is a criminal trial, Trump is required to be in court every day. He faces felony criminal charges of falsifying records to cover up allegations of an affair around the time of the 2016 election. Our legal expert will join us in the 7 a.m. hour on KTVD to discuss this case and possible outcomes. New this morning, authorities in Baltimore say they have recovered the body of a fourth person who died in the Key Bridge collapse last month. They haven't released that person's information, but they say the person was found inside of a construction vehicle. 6 construction workers were killed when the Key Bridge collapsed. This comes as the FBI opens an investigation into the collapse. According to the Washington Post, it will focus on whether the ship's crew knew its systems had issues when it left port. And new this morning, check out the chunk chunk of debris that hit a home in Florida last month. NASA has now confirmed it came from the International Space Station. The agency says the debris was part of a pellet jettisoned back in March of 2021. NASA says it was all supposed to burn up when it re-entered the atmosphere, but that clearly did not happen. NASA has opened an investigation of why it survived.
And one thing to know about the weather for today, I know it's raining outside right now. I know. It just doesn't have long to go. So I'm actually going to focus more on the wind for today. That's what you're going to feel. High wind warning north and east of Denver. 7-day forecast. Once we get past that, we stay unsettled for the end of the week. So enjoy tomorrow here, Erica, because once we get to Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, it's just kind of cool and perhaps even a little snowy. Best chance for snow, by the way, Friday night, Saturday morning.
Okay, we will be looking forward to that, Chris. Thank you. Right now, we are seeing that snow in the mountains. That camera on the right-hand side is I-70 in the Eastvale Chain Station. We're dealing with 2 closures, actually 3, 2 on I-70, 1 on Loveland Pass in the mountains because of that snow that Chris has been talking about. That overnight storm was massive. On the left-hand side, we're looking at rain across the metro area that is causing slow speeds and some problems as well as we look live at 225 and Parker Road. So wherever you're headed out this morning, please be careful.
Look at all that snow. All right, Erica, thank you. New this morning, it is finally here. The bike lane construction project along South Broadway is done. 9 News reporter Brianna Fernandez is live along Broadway this morning. Brianna, not only are pedestrians and cyclists happy to see that work finished, but also the businesses along that stretch of the road.
Exactly. Good morning, Jordan, Corey. So this construction project started back in 2022. So businesses along South Broadway, they're very excited now that the construction project is completed, because you might remember when I covered this story just a year ago, it looked completely different. So I do want to show you some video of what that area along South Broadway looked. Now, there was cones up and down the sidewalks, which would block the entrances to several businesses. And on top of that, during this project, there was also underground utility work. So parking was blocked and traffic was a nightmare. Some businesses say during that time frame, business dropped by more than 15%. Now, fast forward to today, it's a much different situation. Now, cyclists can zip up and down the new bikeway along South Broadway, which runs 1.5 miles through neighborhoods into downtown.
The bike lane should bring people in because it gives them more access to bicycles. And then there's always scooter parking up and along the side of the building as well. So hopefully people figure out new ways to get around.
So the owner of Mutiny Information Cafe, who you just heard from, says he's already seeing new customers with summer around the corner. They're expecting even more people. Now, bike lanes aren't the only things that you're noticing along South Broadway. You can see that there's also these bike traffic signals, and there's also improvements made for pedestrians. So the curb and sidewalks that would make it easier for people to get just to their bus stops or anywhere they need to go right along South Broadway. For now, I'm live in Denver. Brianna Fernandez for 9 News.
All right, Brianna, thank you for the update.